It's no secret that leads from Psychology Today are down. I hear this all the time, but I think there might be going on than most people realize. Today, I'm going to explain why I don't think Psychology Today is necessarily to blame for your lack of leads, and what I think is actually happening. Hey there, I'm Kristie Plantica, and I'm the founder of Place Digital, a boutique marketing agency for therapists. This is Practice Marketing Insider. Each week, I examine one piece of outdated or overblown marketing advice for therapists and explain why it's inaccurate, and what you should be doing instead. My first assumption when I heard about inquiries being down from Psychology Today was that traffic to Psychology Today must be down. But Psychology Today's rankings are not down. Their blog traffic has certainly decreased, but that's true for all websites across the board, because of the introduction of AI overviews in the past couple of years. What remains true is that for almost every therapy query that I see on Google, Psychology Today is still in the top couple of spots. Google searches are how most people find Psychology Today. So from a rankings perspective, the platform itself isn't performing any worse. It's not a matter of Psychology Today being careless or complacent with their own marketing. Although I don't think they put in that much effort anymore, they just rely on the decades of Google trusting them. What has actually changed is the search engine results page itself. Google is always making changes to how the search engine results page looks. Ads, for example, are now designed to look more and more like organic results. It's tougher for people to distinguish between advertisements and organic results. But the biggest player right now, in terms of the changes we're seeing, is AI is being integrated more and more into Google search. That changes what the search engine results page looks like, but even more importantly, how people are interacting with the search engine results page. Therapy seekers are likely using the different features on Google, but also Psychology Today and the other organic search results have just been bumped way farther down. So, Psychology Today might just be less visible on the search engine results. Perhaps less people are clicking on it not because the rankings changed, but because the page itself looks different. What's interesting is that on the search engine results in the AI overviews, we are seeing specific Psychology Today profiles picked out. So now your Psychology Today profile doesn't just get visibility within Psychology Today, but it could get visibility on Google and in AI tools as well. I think another major factor in how people are experiencing Psychology Today is that there are more therapists on Psychology Today than ever. The barrier to entry for starting a private practice has never been lower. With different platforms like Headway and Alma, new therapists get a leg up in starting their private practice. Free credentialing, lots of referrals because these platforms pay to get a lot of these referrals. It's easier than ever. And most of those therapists are going to make a Psychology Today profile as well. So in that way, the search results within Psychology Today, the amount of profiles, is flooded. If you've been on Psychology Today for many years, you're going to notice that there is way more competition. But let's talk about the Psychology Today algorithm. Ironically, there's not much to talk about because Psychology Today gives us zero insight into how their algorithm actually works. Back in the day, many therapists noticed that if they regularly updated their profiles a couple times a month, they would get a bump in client inquiries. But that hasn't been working as much anymore. I think the algorithm is where Psychology Today may take some of the blame. But Psychology Today should be motivated to keep you paying for your subscription. When platforms get feedback from their paying user base, they adjust things on their end to make it more worthwhile for you to stay on and keep paying. If they are updating their algorithm and it's noticeably worse, it's their responsibility to fix it. Google does this all the time. Google wants to show the best results to users, so people stay on Google. Then Google can make more money from advertising. Psychology Today's business model obviously isn't the same as Google, but they still should be motivated to keep therapists around. And there's no way that they don't know that therapists are less satisfied with their platform. If anything, I think users of Psychology Today do deserve some kind of explanation from Psychology Today and what they think is going on. At the very least, that would give therapists some comfort, I guess, in their continued use of Psychology Today. But Psychology Today just doesn't provide any insight into anything, ever, really. I could guess some of Psychology Today's ranking factors. Things like location, whether or not a profile is complete, how many things are listed on the profile. But the reality is that we just don't know. So if you're really relying on Psychology Today for referrals, I would do some little experiments. Only change one thing at a time, like changing your bio, your headline, your specialties, and see if that makes a difference. You might be surprised by what you learn. So the real question is Psychology Today worth paying for? I don't think the issue is whether or not Psychology Today is a good investment. The issue is that the reliability of Psychology Today has changed. Many therapists were exclusively using directories and referrals to get clients a few years ago. But just having a couple of directory profiles isn't enough to reliably fill a caseload anymore. But if you sign one client from Psychology Today, even every couple of years, you will get a great return on your investment if you retain that client. But because of how Psychology Today used to be, people are understandably very disappointed in how their Psychology Today profiles are delivering now. I think it's fair to say that the golden age of Psychology Today is over. Directories can't be your only marketing channel anymore. It's too risky. And even if you're going through a phase where you're getting a lot of leads from Psychology Today or another directory, that could change tomorrow. You never want your business to be dependent on another business. I think it's best to have marketing channels that you more closely own. Obviously, you can never own anything like your Instagram profile or even your performance on Google, but you can absolutely stay ahead of things and respond to algorithm changes, unlike on Psychology Today. But you don't own Instagram or Google either. And that's why it's important to have a mix of marketing channels. So if one falls off for a bit, you have others to compensate. If you can't tell, I am super passionate about accurate, high-quality marketing education for therapists in private practice. I am now offering a free 15-minute call for therapists scaling group practices who want my honest opinion on their current marketing situation. I've worked with dozens of group practices, hundreds of solo practitioners, spoken to thousands. I've truly seen it all at this point. So if you'd like to pick my brain for a little while, you can head to practicemarketinginsider.com to book that free 15-minute call if you're a group practice owner scaling your practice. And now, back to the show. We see the same predicament with therapists who are on platforms like Alma or Headway. These platforms make big changes that can send your business into a tailspin, whether it's cutting reimbursement rates or requiring clients to scan their faces before entering virtual sessions. It's dangerous to hook up the majority of your business to a platform you don't own or another company that has different motivations from yours. I still think you can get a really great return on your investment from Psychology Today, if you retain your clients. You can work with a client for years to come, and that client can generate thousands and thousands of dollars in revenue. But you just might not be getting as many of those clients from Psychology Today anymore. Directories have a different role in therapy marketing today. For a lot of therapists, Psychology Today used to be all that they needed to start a private practice, but those days are over. That said, directories are still great for occasionally getting clients, and they're also great for forming a picture of who you are online. When you have profiles on directories, whether that's Psychology Today or maybe you have a listing in the IFS directory, those help Google understand who you are. And the more places you're listed, the more Google can verify that you are a real therapist with a certain specialty. Like I mentioned earlier, Psychology Today profiles are showing up in Google search results and in AI overviews. And those AI overviews are often very similar to what Gemini shows, which is Google's version of ChatGPT. So the visibility that a Psychology Today profile and other directory profiles offer is still very valuable. What I recommend is having a sub-budget within your marketing budget exclusively for directories. Track the benefits you get from these profiles, whether it's having them show up in AI or actually getting clients. Then decide which ones are worth it for you. So before you cancel your account in a fit of rage, which I would totally understand, I know it's so frustrating to feel like you're at the mercy of yet another company. Take a moment and think about the actual benefits of these profiles. Are they going to be as beneficial as they were in the past? No, but they still have tangible benefits that I think are worth paying for. Psychology Today isn't dead, but the golden age is over. The landscape has changed. You need a diversified marketing strategy now. But directories, they still have a role to play. And that's it for this week's episode. If you want to connect, you can find me on LinkedIn or Instagram at Kristie_PlaceDigital. If you're interested in working with me and my team, you can head over to placedigital.com. I'm Kristie Plantinga. Thanks for listening, and I'll see you next time.